Hello and welcome to episode, I'm not sure what number, of the Workwise Business Insights
Episode
podcast.
3.
Oh, is it episode 3? I'm glad you're on the ball. I'm Michelle Smith from Clarity and Beyond, and this is my co host.
I'm Rosalind Kurumi from HR Depth.
Excellent. And today we've got a really special episode because we have our very first guest along with us. So we're quite excited about this and hoping that Karen gets a really nice, smooth ride. And I am absolutely certain that we're going to get so many insights into running a business, Karen's field of expertise, and lots of things for us all to take away. So, Rosalind, would you like to get started?
Yes, Karen, welcome to
Hello.
our studio. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you. It's a real pleasure to be here.
Thank you. We have a few questions that, we're going to ask you in between us. Please feel free to answer them as you deem fit. So, can you please tell us a bit about yourself? Who is Karen?
Karen. Well, my name is Karen Mannion, and I guess I'm just going to speak to you from the perspective of what I do and who I am. So I am what do I do? I am a nutritional therapist. I am also a qualified personal trainer, but it's not something I practice anymore, but it's useful to know about. And I'm also qualified in a practice called Neuro Linguistic Programming, or NLP for short. So currently, I tend to combine both nutrition and NLP to help women, usually they're perimenopausal women, to transition into the perimenopause with ease. So I am motivated to work with that particular niche of women because I had my own um, very difficult health journey. So um, I didn't want my challenges to go to waste, and I really want to spend a lot of time helping as many women as I can transition into the perimenopause with ease because mine was a very difficult journey, and I learned a hell of a lot from it. And so now I use my experience, my knowledge to help other women transition with a lot more ease than I did. And I'll tell you a little bit more in a minute.
Wow, that's a lot. Interesting. Interesting. I think our viewers, whether they are female or male, they will be able to get a lot out of it, even for our male audience as well, or viewers, they'll be able to support the women in their lives. Thank you, Karen. That's very interesting. Yeah, and I
Thank
think
you.
as we go along, you can tell us more into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I back in well, just around the time that COVID was happening, I was going through the perimenopause, and I had no idea what was coming for me. So I think it was probably around 2021. I started having some really severe symptoms, really heavy menstrual cycles, lots of anxiety. But I also at the time had a couple of conditions which made it a lot worse. So I was going into the perimenopause with some real challenges. I had a condition called fibroids. So these are non-cancerous tumors that grow in and around the uterus, and they can cause symptoms such as heavy and painful bleeding, anemia, pain. And I'd had them before, they had never really had any impact on me. But this time round, when I was going through the perimenopause, which is a time where we tend to have higher amounts of estrogen, this can be quite a challenge because um, fibroids are dependent for their growth on estrogen, the hormone estrogen. So here I was with an estrogen dependent condition, and in a life phase where there was a lot of estrogen being produced in my body during a very stressful time during COVID. And I had quite a health crisis, I would say. So during this time, I decided that I wanted to have these fibroids removed because it was a lot. I was experiencing a lot of pain. I couldn't concentrate, was in severe agony. So I had 28 fibroids removed, which was quite a big deal. But I also had another condition called adenomyosis, which is where the lining of the womb grows into the um, the muscle of the uterus, and so each time you have a period, instead of your lining being shed, I was just my muscle, the uterine muscle, was trying to shed the lining, which is very painful. Lots of pain, lots of heavy bleeding, severe challenges, real agony, anxiety, depression. It was a really difficult time for me. And so I decided 6 months later, after my first surgery, to have my a hysterectomy. So that was in 2021, and I just thought, do you know what? That was horrendous. I don't know how much time I've got to live my life, and I want to live my life. So I'm going to use this experience to help other women, because I had no idea what was coming for me during the perimenopause, and that was the most horrendous health challenge that I'd ever experienced. And so now I have had my head in the books, and I help lots of women who have fibroids, endometriosis, which are conditions that are estrogen dependent. Excuse me, and also help women in general transition through the perimenopause with a lot more ease than I did. So using mindset work, and also my knowledge of nutrition, I am helping them to have a far better experience than I did. So that's what I do. That's
Wow.
part of what I do.
Wow.
I I would like to just say thank you for what you do, and thank you for having the courage and the desire to share your experiences, because actually we as women can learn so much from hearing the stories of other women, particularly around that sort of period of life where your body's changing, your life's changing, there is so much stuff coming at you. And I also work with women in a similar sort of age bracket, so I understand the challenges, and how that impacts upon daily living,
Yeah,
running a
it's a
business,
real
having a
challenge.
career, all those sorts of things. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Um,
Thank you.
I,
Amazing.
I
Amazing.
wondered,
Thank you.
unfortunately, I wondered, absolutely. I wondered. I mean, my Wi-Fi did drop out a little while ago, so I'm hoping I haven't missed anything. And it's wonderful to hear all about your business. But I would like to know a little bit more about Karen as a person and the things that Karen loves to do. Who are you? Tell us, what do you love about life?
What do I love about life? I love, gosh, there's lots of things that I love. I'm really curious and I love learning. So I'm always picking up a new kind of hobby and dropping it and picking it back up again. Currently, during COVID, I decided I wanted to learn how to knit, because I've decided that I want to be, when I'm old and grey, that I am able to, I have a lot of godchildren, so I want to be able to knit their children's little booties and cardigans. So I've decided that I'm going to start to learn now. So I am currently knitting my first jumper. So I started knitting in COVID. I took it up for about a year and then dropped it. But now I've bought myself some yarn. I've got the needles. I've actually knitted the actual jumper and the sleeves, and now I'm just putting it all together. And I'm just my next thing is really to really be a very competent knitter. So I love being crafty. I love naturally, obviously, I love cooking because as a nutritionist, I'm always looking for new recipes. So I'm always experimenting in the kitchen. And my husband is very lucky because he gets to taste a lot of my experiments. Most of them go well, but some of them are disastrous. But I love I love playing around in the kitchen. I love well, actually, my husband's taken over a little bit now, but I love growing things in the garden, growing herbs, growing um, from seed,
Oh,
growing vegetables. Um, I love fitness. So, as a young person, when I was young, I was an amateur athlete, and that's something that has stuck with me for a while. So throughout my life, I've always experimented with all kinds of different fitness, um, just all kinds of different ways of getting fit. So, at one point I was very much into my weights and running. I tried a martial art for some time called capoeira, but as I've got a bit older, capoeira doesn't quite work with me anymore. It's a little bit too vigorous. So I am playing around at the moment with Pilates, which I really love. Lots of walking. I love swimming. I love going to the sauna. I have some wonderful godchildren, so I love spending time with them. Tonight, I'm going to see one of my godsons. It's his birthday, so I've bought him a cake. We're going to go and celebrate. Spend a lot of time with my godchildren and my good friends and some family. Um, yeah, just very busy. I love music. I love every now and again I might binge a Netflix series, and I love reading.
That's good.
so I'm
Thank
hearing a
you.
very creative person, very creative,
Person.
very active, loves learning, curious, loves people.
Yes,
And
I
I think that
love
comes
people.
through. That comes through your warmth. Thank you for
Thank
that.
you.
Thanks for sharing that.
Wow, well done, Karen. It's good to
Lovely.
Thank
know the
you.
other side of you apart from being the health, you
The
know,
health creator. Yeah,
professional. Yes,
exactly.
yes, yes,
Exactly.
yes, yeah, yeah.
Um, and I
Thank you.
think that's okay. I'll wait for the next question.
I think for me, I just want to know about what have you learned from things that haven't gone well in your business, from Health Creator.
Yeah. So I saw that question and I thought to myself, I think things are constantly, I'm not going to say constantly not going well, but I think as an NLP practitioner, one of the kind of the things that we talk about a lot is there is no such thing as failure, only feedback. So whenever something is a challenge and it's not going to plan, it's not going the way you want it to I take it as feedback. And you've got to be able to reflect on what's happened, on why things didn't go the way you wanted them to. You've got to be able to pick things apart and to understand where things went wrong so that you can actually fix things next time. So it's really just about having a change of attitude because that kind of attitude helps you to continue to keep moving forward, instead of feeling defeated, because when you're running a business, it's really important that your mindset is right, that you have to have the flexibility, you have to be able to adapt to things that you just weren't expecting, because ultimately you're wanting to move forward, you're wanting to generate an income, and you're wanting to build your business, build that rapport, and develop your business and develop yourself as well. I think, for me personally, I'm very much into self-development, personal growth, and you know it's just an opportunity to grow. It's another opportunity and another way to grow yourself running a business. So it's not necessarily that when things go wrong, what do I do? It's about having an attitude of, well, okay, this isn't quite working right. What has happened in order for me to do it better next time?
Hmm,
Yeah,
that's good. I like
absolutely.
that.
And we've spoken about
I
that,
like that.
haven't we, quite a
Yeah,
lot?
yeah.
Because I think, if as you say, if you give up, you feel defeated, you don't grow through that.
You
And
don't
actually
grow.
No.
taking
Yeah,
on board those challenges, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well done.
And I
absolutely
think,
true.
yeah, I think you have to learn to embrace, the challenges, the difficult times as well as the good times. We have to learn how to embrace them all because it's just all part of life. We growth is something that happens.
That happens
And
every
we
day.
we yeah, we have to be able to keep up with what's going on. We
Yeah,
can't stay small. If we want to continue to build and develop, we have to embrace the challenges as well. And and that makes you stronger, and having an attitude of, okay, I'm going to take this on, I'm going to embrace it instead of shy away from it. It's not going to get you very far. So
yeah.
yeah, you've got to have a different attitude.
Thank you. And like
Absolutely.
Michelle said, we've spoken about this quite a long time, It is in terms of having to review your business plan as well. Every year you review what has gone well, what do I need to improve on, and seeking that feedback. And that is the reason why sometimes we ask for review from our clients, isn't it? How have I served you well? What are the things that I should have done better? And I think it's really good. And they do say the first 5 years of starting a business is a learning curve. So you don't expect to be like 100%. Yeah,
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 absolutely, absolutely. And I
yeah.
will say actually that as much as I qualified in 2016, so I've kind of been practicing for about 7 years. I actually have only been running my business full time for 2 years, and that's where really, I've done a lot of learning, and there's been a lot of accelerated growth, and I think when you sort of go into business with an attitude of I can, regardless of what's going to happen, you get some great opportunities.
Of course.
Um, and I think, one of the things that I really love about running a business is the opportunities that come your way. So this year I've spoken more times than I care to remember. And I remember back in 2016, I was given my first opportunity to speak, and I was so nervous. I had the sweatiest of armpits, and I just was shaking, and it was just horrendous. But now I love it. I love speaking. I was at a conference a couple of weeks ago. It was a nurses conference. There were about 80 nurses there. There were doctors and scientists, and it was just such a good gig. I really enjoyed myself, and you just get more and more and more opportunities, and it just gets exciting.
Thank you.
When you're talking about something that you are so passionate about as well, it's a real gift, isn't it, to be able to share that message?
Absolutely, absolutely. And to be able to hopefully, change minds and change lives, and you're giving something, you're doing something useful in society, and you're helping to be the change that, you want other people to be. It's just really gratifying.
Thank you. I'm sure
Absolutely.
Michelle have another question for you.
Yeah, I mean, on the back of that, Karen, looking back to that day, the day just before you launched your business,
Mm.
what's the single biggest piece of advice that you would give to yourself on that day, knowing what you know now?
I mean, I think I would probably tell myself to slow down and remember that this is a marathon and not a sprint. And that actually, because you want everything now, you want to be that amazing person now, and you're growing into that person every single day. And so I think it's really important to remember to enjoy the journey. Sometimes the journey isn't what you want it to be or what you expected, but to just enjoy the journey, and to just remember that it's a marathon. So just relax into it is what I would have told my former self, because there are times when I'm so impatient and I want what I want now. But you look back and you think, I just wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to be that person that I am now. You need to have those baby steps, that experience to build you, to bring you to a place where you are able to do the things that you thought you were going to be able to do, 5 years ago, but you just didn't have the experience, you didn't have the knowledge, you didn't have the know-how. And so it's just relax into the journey and enjoy the experience day by
Well said.
day. Yeah, that's what
Very
I would have
said.
told myself.
I love that.
I
Relax
love
into the
that.
journey. It's brilliant, isn't it?
Love it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Karen. I think you've told us quite a lot in times, or seriously, in the last, under 20 minutes we've started this conversation. I think for me is, coming from the HR point of view, and also Michelle as well as a business coach as well. And we know in times of well-being and all of that, we're trying to incorporate or advise business owners, even small businesses, to incorporate well-being, even menopause, there's menopause with that kind of stuff. And the training is just not just for the women within the
Mm,
organization, even for men themselves to support their loved ones. Because if their wife or girlfriend is going through that, obviously it will
mm,
affect them at work as well. So I think the question for me is, how might you yourself or your business help someone who is struggling or looking for your kind of service right now? How will you kind of help them, whether it's small business owner or somebody individual that will come to you and just say, you know what, I've heard your story, how can you
Mm.
support me? Or organization that might stumble into our podcast and just say, you know what, can you organize lunch and learn for my team?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I have been doing more and more. I've been doing a lot more lunch and learns, or menopause awareness month is coming up in October next month, so I've got a few talks coming up there. And I think more than anything, there are a number of different questions that come up over and over again with regards to how do you support women who are having their hot flushes and their aches and pains and their weight gain, that difficult weight that women all of a sudden, once upon a time you could eat anything you want, and now, you're just looking at a piece of something makes you put on weight. So there are a number of things that tend to come up on a regular basis, and it's really about helping women to understand um, how partly they need to change their mindset, because I call myself the health creator, because I believe that we're given the potential to be really healthy from the day that we're born, but we learn very quickly in life that we can treat ourselves with sweets, crisps, biscuits, cakes, all the bad stuff. And so we learn very early on in life to take on habits that really don't serve our health. And so by the time we come into our teenage years, we have a terrible set of habits. We are regulating our emotions with sweets, crisps, biscuits, sugar. Maybe we go on to start drinking alcohol, maybe even more harder drugs, but we are not developing the habits that are going to support us through the years of our perimenopause and menopause. And so, what I tend to do with women is take them through this journey and help them to understand if they are struggling with their health, it is because they have been using a set of habits that really don't support their health. So, by the time you get to perimenopause, you're not ready to thrive. We need to be teaching young girls from a very early age that they're all going to get to this place. Everyone's going to get to the perimenopause and menopause. And how do you want to get there? Either with a set of habits that are going to support you, being able to move well, being able to eat well, being able to think well, being able to embrace the difficult emotions that you're feeling, or are you going to go into that kind of period with a set of habits that don't support you, such as, the eating of the sweets, crisps, biscuits, cakes, the processed foods, too much alcohol, sitting at our desks all day, not moving, um, being frightened of the emotions that are coming our way. We're not being told how to deal with our health, and we really need to, the sooner we understand this set of skills, the easier the transition will be. And so I tell women this story, my story, but I also tell them how in a very short period of time there are a set of habits and skills that you can learn that can really bring you back into balance, bring your hormones back into balance, bring you calm, help you to transition into that period with a lot of ease, because it feels like a mountain, but actually it doesn't take long for the body to adjust to a diet that really works, to movement that really works, to lifestyle habits such as getting good sleep, um, exercising, lots of self-care, having nice baths, going for nice walks, doing nice things for yourself, believing nice things about yourself, learning
Mhm.
to believe nice things about yourself, because very often women tend to, we tend to self-sabotage, we tend to be very hard on ourselves. And there's a lot of things we need to learn, but we can learn those skills quite quickly if we are focused and determined to make these changes, because this is just a small transition. And then we're into postmenopause, which may even happen in our 40s. Actually, this is something that many women don't understand. We have that one day of menopause, and then we're postmenopausal, and you could have another 40, 50 years of being alive. So, we really need to be prepared for this time, and we need to do it. We need to get on this kind of bandwagon very quickly. We need to understand how to do it very quickly, because we've got a great life ahead of us. We've got wisdom, we've got knowledge. We can go out there and do great things for ourselves. So there are lots of changes we need to make, but it can happen
Absolutely.
quickly.
Thank you, Karen. That is so, you know, so good. There's a lot of things in there, to be honest with you. And I can relate to that even for myself. Thank you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm sure Michelle will
Absolutely.
have
And
one or two things to ask you as well.
Yeah, just on the back of that, actually, you know, that this self-sabotaging behavior and these patterns that we tend to create, sometimes as far back as our early childhood,
Mm,
um, we tend to tell ourselves stories about ourselves that we take on as truth, and we carry those through our lives.
mm.
And it sounds as though you've been on a real journey of self discovery. And I'd be curious to know, what story had you been telling yourself that you've been able to dispel since you started your business?
Yeah, I think my sort of big story was sort of not belonging, not belonging. I don't belong here and I'm not good enough. And so, being an NLP practitioner, one of the things I think, one of the gifts that I have is to be able to have really good conversations with my inner self, my inner being. And it's a gentle journey. Bit by bit, you begin to start to feel better about yourself. And I realized that I do matter, and that I do belong, and that I am worthy, and that I have good things to say and good things to impart. Good knowledge to impart. So I am determined to go out on my deathbed, believing and knowing that I did my part here, that I was worthy, and that I really do believe that I'm worthy of being here. And I think that's been a change. And I think running a business can help you develop that set of beliefs about yourself. And you have to be determined to want to create that belief. You have to be determined, and you have to keep working on it. And so I've definitely tell myself that I belong here, that I'm worthy of being here, and that I'm doing good work.
I love that.
I love that. And I would
Self-affirmation.
like to say,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And, you know, even more from than self affirmation, I'd like to say, Karen, you are worthy, you do belong, and thank you for everything that you do.
Thank you
Keep
very
on
much.
doing it
Thank you.
it's my
Thank you.
thoughts, because it's incredible.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Rosalind, what are your thoughts?
Thank you. I think for me is we have so many health practitioners out there, you know, they'll call themselves different name. Karen is health creator. So if someone is looking for your service, someone watching this video looking for your service, what should they be looking out for to make sure they find a good fit for them? What is your unique selling point?
Yeah, I think for me, as much as I'm a nutritionist, I'm also very much into personal development, because I do think that the changes that someone is going through, specifically during the perimenopause, are ones that really you've got to dig deep and look at what inner conflicts might be going on. So the anybody who wants to work with me, I normally like them to be able to have the courage to be able to step into difficult times, because I want to help them make permanent changes. This is not just about putting them on a diet, it's about giving them sustainable, healthy skills that they can take forward in their life. And they are life changing.
Mm,
It's about changing beliefs about yourself, because there might be things that you might be doing, such as binge eating, that are not serving you. And very often, Michelle, as you said, um, some of these things can be about beliefs that will drive you towards behaving in a way doesn't serve you. And so, we're working deeply. So I really like to work with people who are very much have the courage to want to go on to a personal development journey. It's like the hero's journey, really.
I love that. So healthy lifestyle.
Healthy
Ready to,
lifestyle.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I like that. Thank you. Thanks, Karen.
Thank you.
Michelle, do you have
As
any
this,
question for Karen?
yeah, I do. As this podcast is centered around business insights, what's the one biggest business insight that you've learned since starting your business that you'd like to share?
Oh gosh, I don't think I've thought about that. That's one biggest business insight. That you will always continue to grow and evolve, and that you have an idea when you first start, and you continue to evolve, and just allow yourself to evolve, and grow, is the biggest insight, really. You don't start off, you don't end being what you thought you were going to. being what you thought you were going to be, if that makes sense. We're
It
Bigger
constantly
makes
picture.
growing.
perfect sense.
Yeah, bigger
Yeah,
picture.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yes, yeah,
I love that.
yeah.
I love that.
And giving yourself permission for that
yes,
to happen.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's fabulous. Thank you, Rosalind.
Wow. Thank you, Karen. It's been nice having you here. And I'm
It's been a
sure
pleasure.
our viewers, they've learned a lot. Personally, I know Michelle and I, we've learned quite a lot from you as well. And I know individually, even business owners as well, they be thinking, you know what, how can I bring this amazing woman into my organization to come and arrange, lunch and learn and all of that. So, where can people find out more about you and the work that you do?
Sure. So if you go to, I have a website, it's called The Health Creator, so www.thehealthcreator.com. You can actually, if you like, even download a free meal planner, which is all about healthy hormones, developing healthy hormones. So they're really lovely, tasty meals that you might want to download. And that's pretty much the best place to find me. I'm also on Instagram, the same health creator, and also on LinkedIn as well as Karen Mannion.
Wow, amazing. Thank you. I think I'll be the first to download.
The meal planner.
Yeah, the main planner. Thank you, Karen. Thank you.
Thank you. It's
Yeah,
been a
Perfect.
pleasure.
Thank you,
it's been a
Sarah.
pleasure. And thank you for being our
Oh my
first
goodness.
guest. This will go down in the history.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel very excited to be the first guest. Thank you
Yeah,
for having me.
yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for
Brilliant.
agreeing to come along. It's been incredible, and I absolutely have taken things from what you said and resonated with lots of what you've said. And the mention of food, well, goodness me, I'll be on your website downloading the meal planner as well, I think, after this conversation. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's been an
Please
absolute,
do.
absolute pleasure. Thank
Fantastic.
you
Thank you so
again.
much, ladies, for inviting me.
Thank you,
I've really
Karen.
enjoyed it. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank
Thank
you.
All right.
Okay,
See you later.
bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much. See you soon.